So today I'm going to work through 3 different problems with the elimination method. As I'm working through each problem, the video is going to pause and you're going to answer a couple questions. So just a reminder, periods 1 and 5, you have a quiz tomorrow on Tuesday. And then periods 2 and 4, you have a quiz on Wednesday. The quiz will just be on elimination method. So if I take a look here, the first problem, I have my first equation, which is 6x minus 6y equals 24. And then negative 3x plus 6y equals negative 3. So based off the coefficients, you want to think about which variable would eliminate. And I see here that the y's, they both have a 6 in front of them, and they're both inverses. One is negative, one is positive, which is a good sign. That's exactly what we want. So I'm going to go ahead and add those equations together. Remember, we always add. Negative 6y plus 6y do cancel out. 6x minus 3x is 3x. 24 minus 3 is 21. I'm going to divide 3 to both sides. 21 divided by 3 is 7. Now remember, we always want to figure out both variables, so you can pick either equation to solve. I'm just going to go ahead and rewrite the first equation here. So I have 6x minus 6y equals 24. Now remember, we just figured out that x is 7 minus 6y equals 24. 6 times 7 is 42. I have 42 minus 6y equals 24. And then I'm going to go ahead and subtract 42 to both sides. I'm left with negative 6y. 24 minus 42 is negative 18. Don't forget about that negative sign. Divide by negative 6. Negative divided by negative is always positive. Negative 18 divided by negative 6 is a positive 3. So remember, when I write my final answer as an ordered pair, x always comes first. So I have 7, 3, and this is my final answer. All right, example number 2. For example number 2, I have 4x minus 5y equals 19. 4x minus 3y equals 13. So I'm thinking about which variable will eliminate, and I'm seeing here that x would probably be the better option because they both have 4's in front. Now remember, we want them to be inverses of each other. One should be positive and one should be negative. So remember, the trick here is you're going to pick an equation. I'll pick the top one. And you're going to multiply it by negative 1. When you multiply it by negative 1, essentially you're just flipping all your signs. Instead of this positive 4x, it becomes minus 4x. Instead of a minus 5y, it becomes plus 5y. Instead of a 19, this becomes negative 19. I'm just going to go ahead and rewrite this same equation right here. 4x minus 3y equals 13. Now I see that the 4x's are inverses of each other. One is negative and one is positive. These guys will cancel each other out. 5y minus 3y is 2y. Negative 19 plus 13 is a negative 6. Gonna go ahead and divide by 2 to both sides. I get y equals a negative 3. Now remember, we can pick either equation to plug in this y equals negative 3. I'm going to go with this second one here. So I'm just going to go ahead and rewrite it. You can go with the first one, it doesn't matter. I'm going to go ahead and plug in this negative 3 for my y. Be careful here, negative 3 times negative 3 is a positive 9. Subtract 9 to both sides. 13 minus 9 is 4. I'm going to divide by 4. 4 divided by 4 is a positive 1. So remember, my final answer, I need to write it as an ordered pair, x comma y. X always comes first. X is 1, y is a negative 3. And that is our final answer. The last problem I'm going to go over today is what we covered on the second lesson of elimination. We called it Elimination Part 2. So we have negative 5x plus 7y equals 3. Negative 6x minus 14y equals 26. So we have to do an extra step here because I'm looking at the coefficients and I see that they don't match. The x's are 5 and 6, the y's are 7 and 14. So now you want to think about which variable is the easier one to eliminate. So the way I think about it is, does 5 go into 6? No. Does 7 go into 14? It does. And remember, you want to start with a smaller number. So between 7 and 14, 7 is obviously the smaller number. I'm going to put parentheses around the entire first equation. And now I'm thinking about what number times 7 will get me to 14. Because remember, I want them to match. And that is a 2. Right? Because 7 times 2 is 14. Remember, you need to distribute this 2 to every single term. 2 times negative 5x is negative 10x. 2 times 7y is 14y. 2 times 3 is 6. I'm going to go ahead and rewrite the second equation. Negative 6x minus 14y equals 26. I'm going to add these equations together. Negative 10x minus 6x is a negative 16x. These 14y's cancel out. 6 plus 26 is 32. Divide by negative 16. X equals negative 2. I'm going to go ahead and pick an equation. I'm just going to go with the first one. I'm going to go ahead and rewrite it first. I have negative 5, parentheses negative 2, because I just figured out x is negative 2, plus 7y equals 3. Negative times negative is always positive. So I have 10 plus 7y equals 3. Subtract 10 to both sides. Those guys cancel out. 3 minus 10 is negative 7. Divided by 7. Negative 7 divided by 7 is a negative 1. My final answer in x comma y form is going to be negative 2, negative 1. And that is my final answer. I hope this makes sense. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out so that we can schedule an office hour and we can go over more examples together. Thanks, everyone.